animals just push down. Plus, they can make whatever height you want, 3 feet to 10 feet. And you know what? Buying stuff made right here keeps the money in the Federation and boosts the economy. And listen, JNF Fencing is offering special prices until March 31st, you know. So call them now. The number is easy to remember. 469-4692. You got it? 469-4692. J&F Fencing at Long Point, your local chain link manufacturer.
Hold on, stop. Think about the drink before you take a drop. Read up on the label on the back. They say science sugar low in fat, but don't be fooled by that. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody, yeah.
This message is brought to you by Lake Health and Wellbeing.
Come to Sun Pharmacy for all your prescription medication and healthcare supplies. 2 convenient locations, Keon Street next to the Chinese supermarket and in the food court at Port Zante. Sun Pharmacy, we care about your health. Telephone 466-1074 or 466-1077. Sun Pharmacy, your pharmacy. Sun Pharmacy accepts all bank cards and medical insurance plans from Nagico Insurance, Sagico Insurance, and National Caribbean Insurance.
Here we go again! The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources present Agri Easter Night Market! Wednesday, 31st March from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. Local sellers bringing you the freshest crops, meat, fish and prepared food. The first one was so nice, we had to do it twice. And this time, it's the Easter season. So, hop on over to the Bastia Public Market and get your Easter goodies, such as local fruits and vegetables, jams, local wines, and much, much more. Remember the date, Wednesday, March 31st, 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. See you at Agri Easter Night Market.
In case you don't know us, you're just twisting the dial away and managed to bump into us. This is ZIZ Radio from out of St. Kitts.
All right, 26 minutes moving up to the hour of 9 o'clock. Greetings to everyone listening and to those of you online. Top of the morning to you. And let me say good morning to Donnelly. You smile. I remember the order, man. I remember the order. Donnelly Liebert Shiverton, right? Yes. That's the order. I remember it, man. I remember it. I pause because I know you don't have a problem with me addressing you by the first name at all.
Fine.
But you know, that's why I say, you know what, let me just make sure.
My friends call me by my first name.
All right. Oh, you heard it for yourself. I got the promotion this morning. All right, but before we go any further, we normally start off the program, at least when Donnelly is here, with a prayer. So over to you, Donnelly.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, hear our prayer. We want to thank you, dear God, for today. We want to thank you, dear God, for continued blessings. Help us, dear God, as we go through today's program, that what is said today might not just fall on deaf ears, but might be words of advice and information to each and every one of us who is listening, and those of us who use our media for the information for trafficking, for crossing the roads, whether you're a driver or you're a pedestrian. Help us, dear God, help the gentlemen this morning, dear God, that whatever they have to say this morning may go across to each and every one of us ears. These mercies we ask in your name and no other name. Amen.
Amen. I hope my partner heard that one. Neston. Good. So, what's on the agenda for this one? I see we have some heavy hitters in the studio.
Yes.
One I dubbed the Star Boy.
Yes, good morning to the general public. We want to thank you again. Remember, we always say at the beginning of our program that our program would not be the same without you, our listeners. We are always grateful for your information, whether it be it in a negative manner or positive. With us this morning, before I continue to take over this show, we have a filled morning with information that is important and that each and every one of us as pedestrians and drivers should know. Mr. Pemberton, who's in the studio with us this morning from Public Works Department, he is not a stranger to the radio station and to our program. But with us this morning is Mr. Barrington Cross, who is Jamaican, I think.
Yes, he is.
And he is here as a signal specialist. And so between these two gentlemen this morning, we are going to gather the information that we so need, that the general public is waiting to hear with regards to the lights and the crossings and the blocking of roads and the one-way roads and so on. And so because I'm not familiar, I'm going to turn the rest of the program over to these two gentlemen.
Mr. Pemberton, I believe you should lead off.
Okay, I want to say good morning to all of our listeners, those of you on the internet, those of you listening by your radios or your television set. Pleasant good morning to you. It is a pleasure for us to be here this morning, and as the officer would have said, we want to share some information with you and also get some feedback from you. I'm extremely happy this morning that we have Mr. Barrington Cross with us, who is our signal specialist. He's the one responsible for programming the timing on the lights, and I know that a number of you would have had quite a bit of questions. You can feel free to call in and ask those questions. And so what I'm going to do at this point in time is that I'm going to ask Mr. Cross to just explain to the listening public about the traffic lights that is located at the bottom of 4th Street and Bay Road. There's a particular uniqueness about that light, and I want him to explain to the traveling public how we can go about utilizing that particular light. Over to you, Mr. Cross.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pemberton. Morning, listeners. Always happy to be in St. Kitts. It is now phase 2 of the traffic project. There were some concerns with Bay Road and 4th Street, closeness to the traffic signal to Bay Road and Port Zante West. So, as I was explaining to the police yesterday, because I've been around, so I'm here with you to explain what's going on with those today. The traffic light there is just one system, because people was concerned with the close proximity. So it's one system connected to the one at Bay Road and 4th Street. And with these new sets of light, not only at that location, we now have to do synchronization. We have such closely spaced light. We now have to synchronize or have the ability to synchronize these lights. We have installed a GPS system, because with synchronization, time is important, time reference. Everybody at all locations have to be seen at the same time. Without that, you don't have synchronization. So we do have the availability of synchronization. We have sensors right around. We have the traffic signal is able to do different things at different times of the day. You have a different plans, different timings for the morning, for the afternoon, peak hour. We're flashing at nights. And so it's a very adaptive system. It can be fine-tuned in a way you require. So it's, as I say, it's very dynamic. And as I said, with the first few days of commissioning these lights, we'll be out there fine-tuning to make sure that we get everything right. We start off basically to get these signals in place. We have done our studies, our traffic counts. We have modeled, put in our software. But as you know, software is not perfect. So there's always a need for fine-tuning these signals.
Human revision.
Yes, we do. So we are confident and raring to go to commission these lights.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cross. So If I am utilizing the traffic lights along that corridor, that particular corridor, should I be concerned, for example, that when I get a green at one of the traffic lights, let's say the one that is at the old museum, and I look ahead of me that I'm going to be seeing a different color light at the one at Rams?
All right. Yes, I'll answer that. With progression, some people think synchronization is green right through. Sometimes for progression, you might have one set of lights, it goes 5 seconds after. And the models will tell you, and you fine tune it as such. But in general case, with close proximity, you get green maybe 90% of the time, 99% of the band to get that progression. So with a location like that, you would basically have a green. When you have a green at Bay Road and 4th Street on the main street, you would have the green at Bay Road and Port Zante West also there for progression. It is important, as you know, for progression, as I said, with the closest space lights. And one of the things we measure is delays. And that's how we rate our progress of our signal. So each of them have a grade, a level of service, A, B, C, D, if it's not a good one, as you know. So A, but it generally won't get an E, but you get a B, and that's good enough. So there's a measurement and there for in terms of progression, and synchronization is just to get that sort of progression. So closest space signal, as close as maybe 50, 30 feet, you have to synchronize. Where they are wide and far apart, we maybe go to first come, first serve basis in that case. But the closest space intersection, we normally install the synchronization program to get a nice way called a green wave progression along the main street.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cross. I would like for you now, if you can please explain to listening public about the protective turn and the permissive turn. Could you go very slowly as you explain, please?
All right. I think some motorists have the conception that when you're in the right turn lane, that's at Bay Road and 4th Street, to turn right, you only can turn right on the green arrow. And that's not entirely so. You can turn right on the green ball from once there's no oncoming traffic. You have what we call there a protective and permissive movement. The arrow, when you have the arrow there, is what we call a protective movement. You're free, you're protected. Permissive is when you have the green ball. So now you can, but now you have to do it with caution and with skill. So, as I said, a lot of persons, motorists, in fact, was not aware that you could actually turn right on the green ball. So you can, without fear of prosecution.
Okay, all right. No, for me, I'm going to leave the questions for callers. So if you do have a question, 465-2555, that's 2555. And those of you overseas, 718-577-2916. But while we wait for the calls, there's a question for you, Donnelly, that already came in. If someone is on a bicycle traveling the wrong way on a one-way street, can the person be ticketable? And also as it relates to the traffic lights, meaning if the light is saying red, but the person's on a pedal bike and still ignore the red light and continues.
Yes, that's a traffic. Thank you for that question. Yes, it's a traffic offense. You cannot be ticketed, but you can be taken to the magistrate court. It's an offense, yes, but it's not a ticketable offense.
All right. Seeing that most of the questions will be geared to you this morning, I'm assuming, I could be wrong. I'll actually put on the headphones, and then what I'll do during the balance of the calls, I'll turn off the microphone so you can hear what's happening. So let's take this call. Good morning. You are live and lively. Good morning.
Good morning, and Donnelly and the gentleman in there.
Good morning.
Yes, Donnelly, my question is to you as a police. Why is it these people on these three-wheel motorbike, mountain bike, still out there on the road doing their foolishness? Still, because it seems like nobody's stopping them. So my question is, why are they allowed to be out there on the road still? Thank you. I listen for your answer.
Thank you, caller. Like everything else and everyone else, we cannot be here, there, and everywhere. And I don't think that it is not that the police are not doing anything, caller, but persons have a way of being lawbreakers. And they would break the law, not necessarily in front of the officers at times. Somebody might be breaking the law between Atlas and Keyon, but as soon as they get in front of the police station, the helmet is on, there isn't any noise coming from their vehicle, and they're riding their bike the way they're supposed to ride their bike. And so there is no offense committed because the police is not going to see that. Now, you as the general public, the person from the general public is seeing these offenses, yes, you can call in, and yes, you can relate this thing to the police officer, making sure that you have all the information that we would need. For example, if for some reason you see someone breaking an offense, committing an offense, make sure you get that person's vehicle number, that tricycle or three-wheeler, four-wheeler, or whatever it is that you want to call it. Make sure you get that number plate on that vehicle so that once you're calling and you say, officer, I see so-and-so pop wheeling, or I see him made a wrong turn, once you have the information on the vehicle, that would help. Because you're giving us the information, not giving us the vehicle number. You don't know who the person is. Clear cut, the police we don't have anything to go on. And so whenever these offenses are being committed, it's always good that you have all the information that we need. And we see these offenses and we work along with these offenses. There are persons who are in front of the magistrate court now for these offenses that are caused with the persons who drive these three-wheelers or four-wheelers or whatever you want to call them.
All right. Let's take the next call. Line 1, good morning, you're live. Yes, good morning, you're live.
Good morning, lady and gentlemen. Jiki, how are you?
Good morning.
I'm doing okay, so thanks for asking.
Just a quickie question. I imagine that your synchronization studies were done within the last year during COVID, and there were no cruise ships in the harbor. What will happen to those synchronization results when cruise ships start visiting St. Kitts on a regular basis and traffic is high in and out of Port Zante? I'll listen up here for the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question, caller. All right, the previous counts were done as far back as 2018, before the COVID. And some counts were done since I've been here to run the comparison. You see where the volumes has dropped, obviously, because there's no cruise ship in port. I'll be back, as I see. There's a line of communication always here. There's somebody that is based here, Mr. Bervin Daniel, and we communicate often, and we will monitor as such. As I said, I will be back here when the traffic is fully back to see where there's a need for what we call optimization of the signal timing. And we have adequate resources, as I said, with Mr. Bervin, President of the Public Works, who is able to optimize and do his adjustment, and also to troubleshoot any problems that you have with the traffic signals.
All right, let's go to line 3. Good morning, you live.
Good morning, GQ and Donnelly and the other gentleman.
Good morning.
Let me cut down the radio.
Thank you, appreciate that. And that also goes for anyone else who will be calling in. Turn on the volume in the radio so we can communicate better.
Yes, good morning again. Donnelly, just a while ago, you mentioned about you follow up to the caller with about the bikes and stuff, and you talk about getting maybe the general public getting information and proper information to you. Let's say someone videotape these guys doing their stuff. Is that workable in the court? They're trying to get the number plate and everything and stuff and so. So you have a full video clear video of the incident being taken place. Is that workable in the court? No.
Thank you, caller, for that question. I don't want to put my feet in my mouth because yes and no. Because when you get information from someone, a video, for example, the magistrate is going to want to know who is the maker of the video. And so that person has to come into the courthouse and give the information to the magistrate like you're giving evidence. Mm-hmm. So you're giving us the video, yes. And so the magistrate is going to, we have to now summon you as a witness to come to court. Mm-hmm. And so the magistrate would want to get, information as from you, now the witness, as when was the video taken?
How credible it is. Mm-hmm.
And these kind of things. And so yes, it can happen, and it has happened in the past. Not necessarily. I have never ever witnessed one with the bikes as pop wheelie and stuff, but I have witnessed persons coming into court giving evidence with videos when it comes to traffic accident. Mm-hmm. So like I said, yes, it can happen, no, and so I would have to get my information correctly so that I can properly answer your question.
All right. Line 1, good morning, and you're live.
Hi, good morning. Some time ago, I had called in relation to the traffic light at Port Zante with the exit, and I had indicated that Port Zante usually have the area blocked. So if I am coming from Rams and I want to go, is it east? Yes, so I have to exit at the roundabout at the Sand. Did you guys check with Port Zante in relation to them blocking the areas? Because when you're coming from west going to east into Port Zante, it's usually blocked off by Port Zante. When you're coming from east to go west into Port Zante, that too is usually blocked off. So did you guys consult with Port Zante in relation to that? Because remember, when I'm coming out of Port Zante, I can't go Port Zante by Rams. I can't go back east. I have to go all the way west to come back. So did you guys get a chance to address that? I'll listen off to you.
All right, thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you, caller, for that question. There has been discussion with UDC with regards to the traffic management at Port Zante, and there have been, as I said, talks where they want to do a comprehensive development of the traffic management on Port Zante. What would be the eventual outcome of that, I cannot say at this moment because the talks have not been concluded as yet. But as it stands now, you still cannot go from east to west on Port Zante. That is a decision that was made at the UDC level, and I am not at liberty to divulge or to speak on behalf of UDC. Mm-hmm. All right, so I just want to bring that to our attention.
Hopefully it'll go in the public's favor, because that's a very valid point she raised. Very valid point. But let's go. Back to the phone line. Line 3, you are live. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, morning.
Good morning. GQ.
Yes.
What I'm calling in for, I see you have a problem up on the top of Cunningham Street, there by the college, with the lighting. The area is too dark. The other night I come in there with a car and almost knocked down a man crossing from the back of the KR Street to go to the back of the college. And I think up there is too dark. You need a brighter light. And if you could go and just take a look one of these nights and you will see the darkness. It starts from the street there by Connor School to the back of the college.
All right, buddy. Thanks for your call. That's more for you, Donnelly, for you to go and check out.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Line 1, good morning, you're live.
Good morning, sir.
Hey.
Yeah, and I didn't heard you said amen this time around, which is very good, and I showed Donnelly smile. Okay, I'm trying to get some clarity. The gentleman explained in relation to when you're coming on the Bay Road and you want to turn up into 4th Street. Is he saying, although the arrow is not pointing for you to go right, you can still turn right on the green? That person that normally the traffic, you'll go over to the lane on the extreme right, and then you'll wait until the arrow turn, indicating that you can go right. You can turn even before that is happening. That I'm trying to clarify, because I traverse that road on a regular basis. So I want to make sure that I understood what he said just a while ago. Is it that he's saying that you can still turn right, although the arrow, because normally the arrow wouldn't indicate, it will have you there waiting for a while, and then the arrow will indicate, and then you can turn right. But is he saying you can still turn right without the arrow saying that you can turn right? I'm trying to make sure I understand.
Yes,
clearly.
yes, caller. Right on the green ball, you can turn from once, important, from once the way is clear, from the oncoming traffic. So yes, you're allowed to turn right on the green ball. That is allowed.
Okay, beautiful. I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying. Thank you very much, sir. And the program, as usual, is very educational. I'll continue to listen.
Okay,
Have a
thank you,
good day.
sir.
All right. All right, so we don't have any calls at the moment, so over to you, Donnelly.
All right, yes. I just want to at this point, continue to speak to the general public where the signage of our licensing authority is concerned. There is a signage on the top of Cunningham Street for some persons who've been around for a long time, where we call Five Ways. There was a sign there that says no motor omnibuses, and we're still having the problem with motor omnibuses taking that route. They're off of the bus route, one, so that's an offense, and there is a sign that says no motor omnibuses, and persons are still being disrespectful to the sign. And so we are once again on air appealing to the general public, most importantly the bus drivers, that you are not to take that route.
All right.
It's a traffic offense.
All right. Let's take this next call. Good morning. You're live.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes, man.
Yeah, Donnelly, I'm sorry to say this, but everybody know police cannot be here there anywhere. But these guys on these motorcycle bike and pedal bike, when they're doing the foolishness, they are not looking to see whether there is police, yes or not. They are doing it. And especially where the city streets are crowded with people. They want everybody to see them doing their ignorance. And police got to be around them area. Is in Boston, I'm talking about, not on a country road. So when they swing up 4th Street and on the bay, police all about the place in town. And police seeing them and not doing nothing about it. That is the thing I'm talking about. Because it's every day they're doing it and people complaining that if the person they hit the car, what would have happened and what wouldn't that happen? So I am only asking that you all go. You all over there look for them, and when you see them, don't let them go. Don't let them go, because when you let them go, that is when they're going to continue doing it. Thank you for listening.
All right, Culture. We're going to take our final call for this morning. Hi, you're live. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. 2 areas are concerned. The Bay Road, I think in a prior broadcast there, the program, they said they were going to remove the crossing there by KFC and the Chinese store. I don't know if that is still in play. And the other area is at Wellington Road. This may need a whole program, because I'm really puzzled as to how the traffic will flow going in and out of the gas station. For instance, you're coming from Baker's Corner, can you turn right into the gas station, or even right into the area there by the car show room, because there's a stoplight just above there. And coming from the airport way, or the factory road end, I think we have 2 bus stops there. I don't know if you have plans to remove them, or how would the traffic flow with buses stopping right before the lights? And lastly, in that same area, there are basically 2 turns there to go into like the Valleymat area. I don't know if you could just shed some light on how the traffic will flow generally in the Valleymat area. Thanks. Wellington Road, Valleymat area.
All right. What we're going to do, though, for those of you who are listening and to that individual who just called, We're going to take a break. We have our 9 o'clock report coming up. And then after that, I'll let Mr. Pemberton and Mr. Cross, Barrington, right? Yes, that's it. Barrington Cross address those issues there for you. And for those of you who are trying to get in, not to worry, we'll be back on the other side of our newscast. And talking about the newscast is coming to you, compliments The Grange.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Are you looking for
It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gonna be safe. Everybody gonna be safe. One kind, yeah. One people. We are roll up to roll up. Yeah. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right. Alright. Cause I love you. Brother, my sister. And we're in this together. My sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to let it roll out.
Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
I will take the vaccine because building defenses against COVID-19 is a team effort, and we are all a key part of that defense.
I definitely will be taking the vaccine when it's my turn.
I will be taking the vaccine as it is an important tool in the fight against the pandemic.
It is important for me to vaccinate to ensure that if I do become infected with the disease, it can prevent hospitalization. In addition, it also helps with herd immunity.
I will take the vaccine to protect myself, my loved ones, my clients, my co-workers, my community.
St. Kitts and Nevis, why do we need to vaccinate? Kenisha? So we can jab COVID-19 away.
Today we're at the Newtown Health Center, where we've had the official launch of the COVID-19 vaccination program. We are so pleased to have had quite a cross-section of individuals who were represented here today and taking the vaccine. We had members of the cabinet, we had persons from the medical fraternity, doctors and nurses alike, and we've had quite a number of other persons from the clergy, from immigration, from police, you name it, they were all here to take their first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. And so we all got our COVID-19 vaccination card to indicate that we would have taken our first dose of the vaccine. Once we come back in 10 weeks, we will have our second dose, and then once we got that second dose, then the cards would be stamped at the front with the Ministry of Health stamp, and that is to finalize that you did receive both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. A reminder that the vaccine helps us to ensure that persons do not have severe illness or death, and so we're encouraging persons to step forward and take the vaccine. Get all the facts that you need to get. The Ministry of Health provides all of the information. The facts on the vaccine are on the covid19.gov.kn website. And so we're asking you and urging each and everyone to come out, and get your vaccine. Look at the information, get all the information that you need, whatever makes you comfortable. But I can assure you that we have all taken it so far, and I'm feeling good. My arm is good. It was a vaccine, and so I'm excited about that. And so I'm looking forward to my second dose to say I'm completely vaccinated for COVID-19. And as the science continues to evolve, I'm sure we'll find more information and more benefits as to why you should take the COVID-19 vaccine. But for now, I know that since I've been vaccinated, I lower the risk of me getting severe illness or death from COVID-19. I also know that I'm protecting myself, my family, and my community. So I'm asking everyone, get the facts and then get the vax. Today was an example that it is safe, and we urge each and everyone, when it's your turn and your stage come around, to get vaccinated. As we progress, we will provide more information as to the next stage and who will be next. And so look out for that information from the Ministry of Health. We'll keep you informed, we'll keep you updated, we'll let you know how many persons have been vaccinated, and we'll let you know when it's your turn that you can make your appointment calling 311 or any of the health centers. So go ahead, get your vaccination.
Just witnessed the handing over of a generous donation of 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine.
It was a kind donation, and India understands that it is important for us to be able to ensure that the entire world is free of COVID-19, and the only way we can do that is through vaccination.
We welcome these additional doses because it would help us to provide a significant coverage, a greater percentage of our population in terms of vaccination against this virus.
And just to note that St. Kitts and Nevis is also paying forward, and we are going to assist the government and people of Grenada by donating 2,000 of those 20,000 to the people of Grenada. And so once again, we just want to thank the government of India, and remember, don't wait, vaccinate.
Are you ready? You're ready. Are you ready? You're ready. Are you ready? You're ready. You're ready. The people them ready, 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 ready. Feed a style, yeah. So all who did think me did done already, me did just a cool on, yeah. Tell them teacher ready, calling me school on ya. Watch me, I'm up the love ya. Tell them, respect themselves, respect the youth, respect your elders, man. Know what you are sing, what you are bring, what you are put in a song. Cause when the streets find out you know real, you come you not belong. You are go surprise to want see you feel. Take me advice, man. Me did just a cool for a bit. Now me back on me studio shit. Magician just send me a beat. Come record this quick. That wonderful who thought with the quit. When them know what me start this shit. Me a the captain, this a my team. And me a steal this shit. The people them ready, 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 ready. With a style, yeah. So all who did think me did done already, me did just a cool on ya. Tell them teacher ready, calling me school on ya. Watch me, I'm up, I love ya. Look how long me a style. And when me no sing songs for a while, me have so much hits. I beat them like a child, and me real in the streets. Wanna check me profile, and me never switched. K&A all the while. I fast than a who boost them. They must don't know about me. Let me tell you about fake friends. When I know about loyalty, me watch them, me not trust them. Cause them not like me. Them still can't do it like me. All the fight, them all a fight me. The people them ready, 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 ready. Feed a style, yeah. So all who did think me did done already, me did just a cool on ya. Tell them teach
teacher ready, calling the school on ya. Watch me, I'm up, I love ya. Tell them, respect themselves, respect the youth, respect your elders, man. Know what you are sing, what you are bring, what you are put in a song. Cause when the streets find out you're not real, you come here and belong. You are go surprised to want see you feel. Take me advice, man. Me did just a cool for your beat. Now me back on me studio shit. Magician just send me a beat. Come record this quick. That wonderful who taught me the quick. When them know me start this shit. Me and the captain, this a my team. And me a steal this shit. The people them ready for the style, yeah. So all who did think me did done already, me did just a cool on ya. Tell them teacher ready, calling the school on ya. Watch me, I'm up, I love ya. The people them ready for the style, yeah. So all who did think me did done already, me did just a cool on ya. Tell them teacher ready, calling the school on ya. Watch me, I'm up, I love ya. Tell them. Florida, Canada, big up every kitty shine. When me fly go England, Europe, me have fun can done. But everybody know, ain't no place like home. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problems, everywhere need God. It's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problem, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. From you don't think it's bad. Full time if you big up me own, yeah. Big up me home. Me no want hear nothing about politics. Right now I leave that alone. And me woman me ice enough. Oje with the ital rice enough. But me don't think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problem, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. From you don't think it's bad. Come take a look. More food to eat and cook. More places to see than you read in a book. If you're ready for a good time, let the good vibes steal your heart like a cook. But look, don't trouble or you'll get shook. Take it sweet, you'll get hooked. Every other trip that you take won't compare to the Sankage trip that you took. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problem, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. From you love think it's bad. So much good people to meet. Me hear the word on the street. Everybody a sing out, say think it's sweet. So much good people to meet. The word on the street is everybody a sing out, say think it's sweet. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problem, everywhere need God. Tell them it's bad.
Attention all drivers, I'm begging you to slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, down.
Hey, welcome back to the program. 16 minutes moving away from the hour. We had a call with a number of questions, well, concerns, if I can put it that way. So I'll let you address to us now, Mr. Pemberton.
All right.
And
Mr. Cross.
Mr. Cross as well. Barrington. Yes.
Thank you very much, GQ. The caller would have called and asked about turns from Wellington Road into the SL Hosford complex. I would just like to let the caller know that once the lights are commissioned, then you will be allowed to turn right into Hosford's at the showroom. Where the cars are located in the showroom there, you will be allowed to make that right turn once the lights have been commissioned. I want to emphasize that again. Once the lights have been commissioned, then that right turn will be allowed. The lights are not commissioned at the moment, so all of those right turns, you can still do them at this point in time. But once the lights have been commissioned, there will be some restrictions where right turns are concerned, but you will be able to turn into Hosford's at the showroom. And Mr. Cross will speak to another aspect of that, and then I will tell you about the roads that will be one way once the lights have been commissioned.
Yes, good morning again, listeners. Now, for the intersection of Wellington and Dickinson Street, where during the peak hours, and I will explain to you why we have reached that conclusion. During the peak hours, and that's peak hour, morning and evening, we'll restrict the right turn on the main street, on either side of the main street. So that right turn that carries you from Wellington onto Dickinson, and that the opposite right turn that carries from from Wellington to Edward Lane, both of those maneuvers will be restricted peak hour morning and peak hour evening. Now, the reason why I've done that, what we have there is what we call a mixed lane, Struan right. You do have an exclusive right turn there. And during the peak hour, it would be difficult for motorists to make that right turn, to find available gaps during the peak hours to make that maneuver. So we formed the conclusion, and based on the studies and the simulation of the location, we have decided to restrict those right turns both in the mornings and evenings. This would be governed by signage, so the signage will be placed on the road as you approach the intersection, nameplates telling you what period of the morning and also what period during the evening you are restricted from making those right turns. While in the off-peak, based on the models and based on observation on the ground, because I've been out there both in the morning and the evening and during the course of the day, you have adequate time within to which to maneuver to make your right turns. So it's okay, and that's why we choose to do those restrictions in the morning, but allows those restrictions, undo those restrictions during the course of the other times of the day. And of course on weekends you're free to make your right turns. And Mr. Pemberton will now speak on other aspect of that governs that junction.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cross. We'd just like to let persons know that if you are planning to enter the gas station at Wellington Road, if you're on the left-hand side, so that is if you're coming from the airport side, you can simply just make a left turn and you can go into the gas station. That is easy. You won't be able to make a right turn from Wellington Road into that gas station. All right. So as we would have said in a previous broadcast, it is important for you to plan your routes so that before you leave, you know exactly where you want to go, and so you try and keep on the left as much as possible, so that you can make that easy transition into where you want to go. We have not restricted any left turns, all right, but where there will be a conflict with the traffic, right turns are prohibited. And while I'm on that, the person also would have spoken about the bus stops. We have had discussions with physical planning. The department is responsible for the bus stops. And where there is going to be a conflict, those bus stops will be relocated. So I just want to answer that question to the caller.
Don't forget the crossing on at KFC.
Yes. Before I go to the crossing at KFC, I just want to let persons or remind persons that once the traffic lights become commissioned, there are a number of streets in that vicinity of the gas station that will change. Lewis Lane, which is the lane closest to SL Hospital's car showroom, that will turn from from two-way to one-way going up. Okay, so that's Lewis Lane. So Lewis Lane will become the same as Edward Lane, all right, which is one-way now. And then we have Florence Nightingale Lane and Rose Lane. Those will become one-way coming down, all right? But that is once the lights have been commissioned. So I want to emphasize that again. We also want to let you know that once the lights are commissioned, that road that takes you from Total Concept Building or along FND, that will become a one-way also going up. Okay, so the necessary signage will be up once the lights have been commissioned, so that people can be properly informed. And we'll continue with the education program. Keep reminding persons of the changes that will be happening, so that they can become familiar with them, and so that they can make traveling as stress-free as possible. With regards to the crossing at KFC, once the lights again have been commissioned, that crossing will be removed. Okay, because once the lights are in place, you can only cross at the lights, because you have pedestrian crossing that you have to use at the lights. All right, so let me repeat that. Once the lights are commissioned, the crossing at KFC will be removed. At the moment, the lights are not on as yet, so we have not moved to remove that crossing at this point in time.
All right, let's go back to the phone line and let's take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Oh, yes, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Yeah, I have a serious concern with these two-wheel and three-wheel bikes around the city. I've been observing it for some time now, that the three-wheel and two-wheel bikers, motorbikes and the pedal bikes, they have been really traveling around without any helmets. I think it should be really mandatory for the two-wheel and three-wheel bikers to always wear helmets. They're being, especially three-wheel bikes, again, in addition to that, they're being up and down with this noise pollution. No shirts, no helmet. And I haven't seen the police really being active enough to deal with these matters. This is a serious problem for having two-wheel bikes and three-wheels not wearing helmets. I would like to think that this is one of the only countries that I've seen that is not being enforced vigorously. It's a serious problem that we have with those youngsters driving around and doing the stunting and all the stuff on the two-wheel and three-wheel bike. So I just want to bring this to your attention, Donnelly. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And the licensing authority will continue to do their work in respect to making sure that these persons who are riding without helmets and without shirt, that they would be dealt with accordingly.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Line 3. Okay, we lost that one. Line 1. Good morning.
Good morning, GQ.
Hi, morning, Dumpling.
And good morning, Donnelly.
Good morning.
Donnelly, you have a set of little boys just be on two-wheel bike. And they will make the traffic had to jam up because they're driving all between cars, all between the bus stop them. And I don't know why you don't hold them and lock them up and then someone appear on. It's every day, especially a Friday and Saturday, a gang of them coming down College Street, got Market Street, all in town. Anyway, you're going to see these little boys and these pedal boys disturbing the traffic. Sometimes the red light come on, you see them between the especially the officer boy, the treasury. I had to do something with these cool little boys, with these pedal boys. So I make the people them get accidents. They're disturbing the traffic. They're paying the money for the tax. And if we need to knock them down, they have to go courts to say this and it's them disturbing the traffic. I have to do something about it. See you, this is Dumpling.
All right, Dumpling. Donnelly is making some notes, but we're kind of short on time, so I'll let you respond in the end. We lost that caller. All right, so you can respond to it, Donnelly. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, caller. And as I sit here this morning on this panel, my heart is aching because the persons, I can feel their pain where these cyclists are concerned. And I too, as a police officer, I have my concerns because I'm having the same difficulty that they're having. And so I'm driving my car and they're riding their bike and we're going in opposite direction. And they're actually looking at me, these little boys, and they're looking at me and operating in a manner that they shouldn't. And so they know they're doing something wrong. And as I would have said on my last program, I had to go to a parent's house dealing with these children. And so it's not that the police is not doing anything. We are doing, maybe in the public eyes, we are not operating fast enough, or we're not, to you it seems as though that there is no penalties on these guys. But yes, we are. We are working. We are doing the best that we can. In some areas we can do better, but we are working the best that we can in getting and making sure that these things doesn't happen. And we applaud the general public for coming forward with this information, because like I said, we accept the information and we invite the information that you have that we don't have. And it is true, it might seem to you that the police is seeing all of this and nothing is happening. Yes, persons have been taken to the magistrate court, but you would not know that as the general public unless I come back to you and said, okay, we had 12 persons at the magistrate court who were charged were on these motorbikes, these four-wheelers, and this is what would have taken place. But things are happening, and I would in the public's eyes and the public's ears, that to let you know that the police is working on these situations.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. We're going to take these last two calls. Good morning, your life.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate your program. It's a very nice program, but I'm a person with a disability. I haven't heard you all speak nothing about persons with disabilities that don't exist and think it anymore. We make up a big part of the population. And I think that you all need to address concerns where people with disabilities are concerned, especially parking. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear, and I'll let them respond to you in a bit.
Especially parking and crossing the roads where those signs are concerned, because sometimes before you could walk across, the sign already changed back, the light is already green. And persons with disabilities move a little slower than the ordinary person, so these are things you all need to consider when dealing with certain things. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. I'll let you respond, but I'm going to take the final call before you do so. All right, good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning. Thanks for all the information shared so far. But I would like the gentleman there who is explaining about the traffic lights to emphasize before the program ends about the Bay Road light going up to the circle from the Bay Road, because we would not want problems, persons turning on that green, even though something is coming on the green. Let them know that the traffic coming from west to east has the right of way. So it's only when there is no traffic coming from the west to the east you can turn on the green ball. Please to emphasize that, because we would not want to have persons turning because there's a green light and then there's traffic coming. Please, that cannot be overemphasized. Thank you.
All right, so a number of issues raised in our last 5 minutes. Still, I'll let you all address them. Starting with you, Donnelly.
I would speak to the one with the disability. I would let Mr. Pemberton speak to the one with the disability with lights, but the one with the parking. It is time now. We are in the 21st century. It is time now. We would be seeking the licensing authority would be liaising with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in getting something done for these persons with disabilities. For example, get a sticker on the vehicle. You know, you have a disability, areas located for persons with disabilities. And these are things that is beyond me as a police constable. And these are things that I would am making notes of and would take back to the persons for their concern. And I would let Mr. Pemberton speak to the lights and the disability persons.
Okay, I would allow Mr. Cross to explain to the general public about the exclusive pedestrian crossing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pemberton. On the first phase, we have 3 modes of pedestrian movement. We were at number 2 in terms of safety. We are now at number 3, where we call exclusive pedestrian movement, where for this new sort of movement, both in the walk and the don't walk, you are fully protected. There will be no interaction with vehicle at all. So while previously, while this is the countdown, you would see vehicles now starting to move, that's no longer happening. So we are at a now exclusive protective movement. It's very important that you press the button. There have been cases, maybe if we have gone through and fix and look at some of the buttons, make sure everything is okay. So I say it's very important. Some have been at Kean and 4th Street, and I saw a number of pedestrians, maybe about 8 or 10, and no one pushed the button. It's very important that you push these buttons to get the pedestrian activation. With the caller previously from who says disability, I'm free. I'm open to meet with them to on site at anyone at any of the locations to see if they are comfortable. That's very important. They are very comfortable and fully aware how to utilize the system. The push buttons are at a height even for a child to push. So it's and there are signage also there telling you how to use the crossing, so forth. When you get that walk signal, because some people mix up the walk in terms of the application for the walk and the countdown. When you get that walk signal is generally a standard, 4 to 5 seconds. Standard, whether the crossing is that wide or that long, it is the don't walk time that is the time that varies. And it's calculated by the length of the road from sidewalk to sidewalk. So you measure the length, you divide it by 4 to get that countdown, don't walk time. And as I said to the members of the public out there, when you see that walk sign, you can walk freely. Still look though. Anybody who comes after that walk signal, don't attempt to cross. If you're in the pedestrian cross and it starts to count down, there's adequate time in there for you to get across safely. So I repeat, which is very important, the walk is maybe there for 5 or 6 seconds. The don't walk time is the calculated time for you to safely go across from one end of the road to the next. Another call previously, I said that the emphasis on the the permissive and the protective movement. And I'll repeat, the right turn arrow is your protected movement where you're free to turn right, and this applies to the intersection of Bay Road and 4th Street. Now, if there's a green ball and you wish to turn right, you can only, and I repeat, only do so if you're not going, if the way is clear, very clear. I may emphasize that you're safely to do that maneuver. You don't want to take any risks. You have an arrow, you can wait on a cycle to come back for your arrow. But don't, as I said, don't take that risk. Wait for the gaps if you have to make that right turn on the green ball.
Mr. Permission, that's it for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Cross. GQ, by way of information, I would just like to let the general public know that the Public Works Department will be undertaking some work at the intersection at Birdwalk and Bay Road starting next week. Next week, Tuesday, you should see some work starting in that area there. So we are appealing to motorists using that thoroughfare to bear this in mind. Please approach with due care and attention, and we are doing all of this to try to improve the road for you so that your traveling can be more relaxed. So when Juku gets here on ZIZ, he's all relaxed and ready to go, not all flustered and so on, and be more productive. So I want the general public to be aware of this and remember that everything that we are doing in an effort to help improve the management of traffic within the Federation. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you all for being here this morning, taking all the time and share with our audience here, as I said, and the nation at large as well. And I do hope all people are taking heed of the information and sharing the information, and I do appreciate those who call in and seek clarification. Before we end, I'm seeking clarification on one point as it relates to Wellington Road, because I understand from Mr. Cross that during peak time you will not be allowed to turn right. And you made mention that you will be able to turn right to go into Valuemat from Wellington Road. Did I hear correctly or incorrectly?
You could turn.
He's talking about at the light.
Oh, at the light. So would there be a center lane there?
No.
That's why the restrictions is in place in the peak hour, because you don't have an exclusive right turn lane.
Okay.
So what they call a mixed lane, it's one lane that you maneuver through and right.
Okay.
So it's very important that we restrict that right turn in the mornings, because you're not going to get the available gaps in the peak hours.
Because it's the main
road flowing,
right,
with a lot of traffic flowing at that time, both in the morning and evening. You're able to do the maneuver based on the models, based on observation during off-peak hours, to fairly make that maneuver to turn right.
Right, so don't come up and rush them and expect to turn right to go in Valuemat. Plan your route properly.
Yes.
Thank you for being here once again, and to everyone listening around the world and viewing our program as well. Thank you. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Donnelly, no, I have to let you with the last word. I'm sorry. You're the star of the show.
Thank you very much, GQ. I just want to thank the two gentlemen for coming and sharing with us. It is a learning experience for each and every one of us, because when these new lights would have been commissioned, we all have an obligation to do what we're supposed to do. Thank you guys for listening, and have yourself a great week.
Attention all drivers, I'm begging you to slow it down.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the cable building in Bastere or sign up online at www